All right, what's going on, everybody? We're going to start the Building a Community panel. I'm very happy to be moderating this panel. I have some good friends alongside me. I'll bring them on if you guys want to join me. We have Kenny He from Boston Cooks. We have Tenzin Kunga from Boston Hype. We have Eric Andre from What's the Word Mass. So those in the back, if some people are looking in, feel free to come in and take a seat. We're going to be doing a panel on building a community. We're talking about community, culture, all sorts of different things. How you guys doing? We'll start with that. What do you think about the event?
Excited to be here.
Excited to be here. Tenzin?
Yeah, I'm very excited as well.
Will you pass that down?
So far, this event's been jam-packed, so that's great. You know, it's hard to get through the halls, so that's a good sign.
Good. So I guess I'll open this up to any of you guys. So we'll start with kind of, if people are unfamiliar with what exactly you do, kind of introduce, what exactly the community that you've built in the Massachusetts area is and what kind of your goal is behind what you're doing. Eric, if you want to start.
Sure. So what I started was an Instagram page, basically. It's called What's the Word Mass, and we started it back in 2016, just posting party videos and just content that teens would engage in. And I was only a junior in high school, so we got the content on the weekends. We posted it. Initially, we were just sending them to big accounts like Barstool, Fifth Year, and such. And after we saw that they were getting republished by them, we were like, why don't we just do this on our own, like make an Instagram page by ourselves and see if people would follow us and engage with our site. So that's kind of how it started. And, after 3 years, we built a pretty large community. And now we do a lot more than just that. We host events, giveaways. We post like a lot of different things now. We did a hockey tour a couple years ago. We went to different schools. We filmed our games. But we have over 200,000 followers on all platforms. And we work with a lot of companies, a lot of cool connections we built. So it's kind of.
That's awesome. So you said you guys have over 200,000 now?
Yeah, across all platforms.
That's awesome. And this is over just 3 years, more than 200,000 followers, right?
Yeah. I mean, the Instagram page we have now with our most followers at 176 has only been around for not even a year.
Wow.
So we've been shut down a couple times. We've came back. We have backup accounts. But, honestly, over 300,000 if you include accounts that got shut down.
That's insane. I see that Zion Williamson follows you guys too. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a long story, but
yeah. So 176,000. That's pretty much mostly people from Massachusetts. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'd say New England is the realm of it.
Yeah. So it's really hard to get almost 200,000 people to follow. Just kids in the area to follow a page. So congrats on that. That's awesome. Tenzin, if you want to kind of introduce what you're doing.
So I run a Facebook group. We're not as big as What's the Word Mass. What's the Word Mass is a pretty lit page. I follow it too. So we run a Facebook group where we hold auctions, we buy, sell, trade. I just try to create a platform where people can deal with all legit members. Just like Boston Got Sold, they deal with a platform where people face to face can deal with each other. I do it like basically like online. The group is called Boston Hype, but we have people from LA and all around the world. Right now, we have approximately 3,115 members, which is nothing close to What's the Word Mass.
But active members, people who are posting all the time on you guys' page.
Yep, exactly. And they're super active. We hold auctions, giveaways. We've given away over 20 pairs of shoes. Also, I want to give a shout out to all my admins, Antonio Jr., Brian Ty, Elijah, Jeffrey, and Tenzing. They all help me with my group. They make sure the group is clean. Everyone posts legit stuff. With every post, you need to have a bin. You need to have pictures with your name on it so they know that you have it. So we just try to create a platform where people can deal with all legit members and get legit kicks.
It's awesome. It's really awesome to see, even though you said it might only be a few thousand people, but it's people posting every single day. It's really such a strong community that both of you guys have been a part of building, which is really, really cool to see.
Thank you.
So Boston Cooks is something similar to Boston Hype. We are a smaller community. But yeah, we like moderate posts that are like people post pictures of shoes and whatnot, and we moderate to see who like has a good reputation. Like if they have a bad one, then we'll remove their post or whatever. Yeah, we host giveaways like live auctions, that kind of stuff. Tenzin
Awesome.
basically covered most of the. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And for, you guys are here. So for myself, my brother Joey and I are the founders of Boston Got Soul. We started about 6 years ago, and it started actually in a small church with 300 people or so. And it built to what you see today, more than 3,000 people, 300 vendors. And it didn't build in one night. It's been 6 years of hard work and just building this community in New England. And that's kind of what we do. So I guess going into that, what is something that you guys learned, like when you were growing your communities and when you were growing your following? Like what's something that you learned personally that you've kind of has helped you in all different parts of life? Eric, maybe if you want to start.
I think it's really important to stay unique because trends are something that kids will follow. That you have to stay consistent to, because if people are not gonna stay, they're not gonna continue to follow you if you're not consistent, you're not unique. They're gonna go someplace else. So it's really important to stay consistent.
Right. So stay consistent and be unique was a big one. Yeah. Tenzin, what did you learn?
I learned that people love free things, and that people
true.
love getting things for cheap. That's why like auctions are big things in my group. Like we like auction off worn shoes, and like we don't have like a minimum, So like people could get like shoes that are worth like $500-600 for like $300-400 if the auction doesn't go well, But like that's what we provide to them, legit kicks that they could get for cheap.
Kenny, what's something that you've learned building Boston Cooks?
Something really important is like audience engagement, because if you just leave, like if you don't moderate it at all, like you just let members post whatever and like leave it as that, no admin like intervention, the group kind of dies. And I've like learned that the hard way. Like Boston Cooks has had its ups and downs. Like that's why like every month now Boston Cooks we try to host a giveaway at the beginning of every month to get members engaged, get them talking. And it can't, like our group can't be strictly shoes and clothes and all that. Like we have like community threads, like what do you think about this, what do you think about that, what do you think about the new Travises that are coming out, like stuff like that, to keep people talking and it's not just robots.
Yeah, keeping people engaged must be huge. Something that I've definitely learned building Boston Got Soul over the years is definitely just the power of really building a strong brand, but like similar to what Eric was saying, is staying consistent, but I think most importantly is just doing good business and really always being good to people and trying to, leave good business and have a good legacy behind everything you do. So if you do bad business one time, if a deal goes wrong and you don't take care of it, or, whatever the case may be, it can really kill your reputation. And, we've dealt with tens of thousands of people at this point, and I'd like to say that I have never done any bad business with anyone, and that's something our company feels really strong about. And that consistency, learning to always cater to your customer, cater to your community is so important. I guess kind of another question that I can ask is, what value do you think like your community or what you're doing is giving to New England or to Boston, Massachusetts, whatever it may be? Like, why should people be a part of your community? Like, what are they getting out of it, and why do they stay?
So the reason why we were really successful is because we were the first to do it. A lot of people always compare us to like the Barstool of Mass. You didn't see the page like us in the state, and there's been a lot of like good things to come out of the page that would have not have to come out if the page didn't exist. One thing that kind of people follow the page for was if there's a controversial post, or people love drama, so they're gonna look through our account and see like what's going on, if people are like talking about it in school or something. But it was really cool because we were kind of the first ones to do it, so that we really didn't have any competition or anything. I mean, we're not going to compare ourselves to big accounts, but at least in the state, like we don't really have any competition. Mass is kind of like a really unique state where
That's
you
awesome.
can-
So you'd say being the first one to do it was huge for you guys. And
Yeah.
was big value for you guys. What about you,
Definitely.
Tenzin? Like, what value do you provide like to the Boston community, and why do people stay with your group?
So we just provide like a platform of like all legit members. You know, like there's a lot of groups that like have like tens of thousands of members in Boston, and they're just so dead. And like there's always people trying to come up and like finesse people and like sell fakes or like scam them, like hit a lick on them, and like we try to make sure that that's not acceptable. We try to monitor the group and like make sure like nothing like that ever happens in my group, because like
That's awesome.
I heard like stories like of like kids getting robbed because they're not doing deals at police stations. Like with my group, you don't like the people you deal with. You don't have to like. If you ask me to legit check on every one of them, I could tell you if they're legit or not.
Yep.
So like you don't have to like be like.
Keeping everyone legitimate. It's people don't have to worry about who they're dealing with, right?
One like really good thing about like groups like Boston Hype and Boston Cooks is that we strive to build connections between people, so they don't like he said like have a platform for people to buy, sell, trade, all that, instead of like relying on like online marketplaces like StockX and Goat. Like when you sell something on StockX, you get like payout or whatever, but you don't have that like human connection that you build with people when you do deals with them. And that's like something unique that Boston Hype and Boston Cooks really offers to people in the sneaker community.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I'd say a big part of the value that we've given with Boston Got Sold, a big part of the value we've given to the community is experience. There's so many experiences that I think are so valuable that people have gotten. People have made friendships here, lifelong, what will end up being lifelong friendships. People have met some of their favorite artists. People have met their favorite sports players. They've made a lot of money. They've bought their favorite sneakers, whatever it may be. A big thing for us is Joey and I, when you come to Boston Got Sold, we just want you to have an incredible experience, and to never forget that time that you came to Gillette Stadium for the sneaker event, and you met this person or you sold this, and experience was just a big thing. And another question, whoever wants to take this can, is when did you realize that the community that you were building was bigger, was a big thing, was a big deal, was bigger than you, if that makes sense? Like it was, I don't want to say out of your hands, but it was for a bigger purpose and it was for a bigger cause. Like when did things get really serious? Was there a moment or a post or anything like that when things kind of flipped? If any of you want to take
I think
that
it's
one.
important to stay humble when you have a business, because if you're not humble about it, then your business can, as you continue to run your business, it's going to hurt you in the long run. But
Right.
To answer your question, I guess if you see that your audience is engaging with your content and that people are talking about it outside of your platform, then you kind of get an idea of like this is big.
Yeah. Was there like a specific post or a shout out you guys got that really blew things up for What's the Word Mass? Or
I mean, when you see athletes and influencers that are engaging with your content on a daily, that's kind of where you get like, okay, so it's just something big now.
right, like legitimacy. People saw that.
We've had like a couple like big posts or whatever, but I mean, if you have consistent amount of athletes or big influencers that engage with our content, then that's kind of a
For either of you, do you guys, was there a moment or a day or something that happened when you realized that your groups were, something really serious and something to take, not that you weren't taking it serious before, but something that was going to go to the next level?
Yeah, like when like one of my members like DM me, they're like, "Yo, thank you for linking me up with blah blah blah." Because like with my group, I try to add a lot of because I'm in a bunch of different groups like all around the world, and I sell a lot, I buy, sell, trade a lot too, so like I link people up with like big buyers, big spenders, So you don't have to sell to StockX for payout. You can sell to my guy who'll pay 20, 30 above payout, And like people appreciate that because like they don't want to just sell to StockX, and
Right.
also like people in Boston they're not used to like shipping things out a lot, so
Right.
like that like new like now they're used to it, now they know how to do it.
Right. So when members were messaging you and kind of telling you the impact you made, that's when you realized. Okay, cool. Kenny, do you want to speak on that at all? Maybe when you realized, that Boston Cooks was a big thing and was only going to grow?
Yeah, after becoming an admin for Boston Cooks, I realized that people from members from my group and his group, they're huge people in the other sneaker groups, right? And then some other things that bring people together is tragic events. For example, unfortunately the late passing of Damien, right? That really brought people together, and that's when I realized dude, this is more than just a buy sell
Right.
trade group.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, for anyone who did know Damien Abreu, he was a longtime member of our community, someone who's been vending at our events for years and just been a part of the community. And he, unfortunately passed away in the past couple of months. And speaking of what Kenny was saying, that really brought a lot of people in both of their groups together to really show that it's more than just sneakers, and there's so many friendships and relationships that are built here. If I can speak on a time when things kind of flipped for us with Boston Got Soul, like I said, it's kind of been a steady track going over the years, but I think the first time we did Gillette Stadium a year ago, if any of you guys were there, it was just huge for us. The first time we ever did Gillette Stadium, it was, I never thought I'd see that many people at one of our events, and things just kind of turned even higher from there. So I think that was a big point for us. I'll leave one more question, and then I'll do some question and answer if anyone wants to prepare a question or anything. What does the future for your community look like? What are your goals for building your community, and what advice do you give to people who are trying to start their own thing, whether it be a business, a brand, a community, whatever it is? What advice do you give to anybody who might be trying to start their own thing?
So we have a lot of big things coming up. I don't want to give them away, but if I'm going to give some advice, stay humble and always look to do new things, and don't be afraid of failing at first, because in order to be successful, you are going to fail, or you are going to go through hardships. So just always remember that if you wanted to get something right, then do it consistently, but remember to try new things.
Tenzin, what's next, and any advice?
Just like Drizzy said in the last panel, be different. There are tons of groups that started doing what we're doing, and what we give to the community is different than all the other groups. All the other groups are dying. They have members that are not legit. We make sure to provide legit members, active members who post every day. We get hundreds of posts every day. People buy, sell, trade every day, and just be active and be different.
Kenny?
Just to clear something, Boston Cooks and Boston Hypes has had some some shaky moments with each other, but that's something that's really important to talk about, because if one group is competing with another, both feel the consequences. So one really important thing for both our futures is that I hope all the Massachusetts and local groups intertwine and create this one larger community, because that's really what it's all about. It's not about this group's better than that group and that group's better than this group,
Cool. I'd say what's next for Boston Got Soul. As you guys saw in 2019, we actually had our first New York Got Soul event, which was an even bigger success than we ever thought it was going to be. We had over 1,500 people. We sold out of vendor tables a week in advance, so that was huge. I never thought that we would, be able to do something that big in New York right away like that. So what's next for us is we want to keep expanding, across the world. We want to take this community and this culture and this feel that we started in Boston and bring that energy around the world. And something I feel really passionate about. And, we'll see what that looks like in 2020. And I guess some advice that I'd give to any of you guys who are trying to start your own business, trying to start your own community, whatever it may be, is, work hard. I think everyone says that, but it sounds cliche, but it's just so true. You get out of things what you put into them in life. That's with relationships, that's with business, that's with anything. If you put in a lot of work, you will get results back. So number one thing I could just say is work hard, and, if always never think that any goal or any dream is too big. If you had told me that we would have been throwing an event at Gillette Stadium when I was in the 8th grade and starting this, I would have said that you're crazy. But no goal and no dream is too big. I'd say just keep pushing forward, and, never think that you can't do something. with that being said, we have room for a couple of questions. If anyone has any questions, doesn't have to be for all of us. It can be for one panelist specifically. I'm happy to open up to anything. Yeah, we got one in the back. Dante, if you want to bring him a mic. Can we get your name as well, please?
My name is Dana. Do you guys feel like being the connector is very important to your business?
What do you mean by being the connector?
Connector, connecting people to people or products to people. Is that just being legitimate and all that, just the perfect way to do business?
Yeah, Denny, if you want to speak on that.
I think like being the connector, like, I mean, it kind of feels good, you know. Like it's like you see people growing as you connect them, you know. Like I've seen people like sell shoes only locally to Boston, and like, okay, they do a little business, make a couple $1,000s here and there, and then they expand their business to other networks worldwide, and now they do like tons of business. They do more than they do double than what they were doing before. So it's like being a connector, like it's I like that's what I enjoy the most, because like I see like so many people.
Like a lifestyle, he said, yeah. Connecting people.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could speak on that as well. I think it's incredible. You know, it's kind of one of the main reasons we started Boston Got Soul. We saw kids who were also trying to buy, sell, and trade and trying to make connections and meet new friends. And, you know, that's what it's all about. The fact that so many of these people, like I said earlier, have met some of their best friends and met business partners and all sorts of things at these events, I think it's just so valuable. So I think being the connector is something that I take a lot of pride in, honestly. Does anyone have any other questions? We're happy to answer anything specifically or to the whole group. Oh, yeah, we have one right here. Could you give us your name as well, please?
Yep, my name's Will. You guys been running the sneaker conventions for a long time now. I just had a question, kind of like two questions really. My question is obviously you guys probably heard of like SneakerCon. What separates you guys from what you guys do in SneakerCon, and would you ever collaborate with SneakerCon in the future?
Yeah, so I have a ton of respect for them. You know, they were one of the first to ever do any sort of sneaker convention. It has it right in the name. And they've done some incredible things. I really admire, you know, how they've spread their culture and, you know, around the world, which is great. I'd say what separates us is a lot of things. I think the number one thing that separates Boston Got Soul, not just from SneakerCon, but from any other event, is really the experience that you have when you come to our event. There's not many other events that you could really go to and come and sit on a panel and then go see a performance and then, you know, make a deal and then meet a famous artist and a famous, you know, Boston Bruins player. That experience of all these different things and bringing all of these different people together, where I feel like at other events it's a lot of people with similar interests. There's so many different walks of life. There's different, you know, ages. There's different ethnicities, different religions, and it's so amazing to see that come together. So I think the community and the diversity within that, as well as the experience that I truly don't believe you can get anywhere else. Oh, and will we ever collaborate? I mean, you never say never to anything. Yeah, that's the short answer for that. We wanted to thank you guys so much for sitting in on the panel. We all really appreciate it. Make sure that you go check out all four of these guys. If you guys could just quick, you know, tell them where to find you, Instagram or Facebook page or whatever it may be.
You guys can find What's the Word on Instagram, WTWMASS.
You guys can find Boston Hype Group on Facebook. Can I give a couple shout outs? I want to give a shout out to the Volt, shout out to La Tienda, shout out to Gabe. You know, all the stores around the city that provide us kicks and that provide us a platform to consign stuff. Like, shout out them, Laced. So, yeah, shout out them.
Cool. Kenny, where can they find you?
Boston Cooks on Facebook. Just search it up in the search tab. Should pop up with a little cartoon that's blue. And, yeah.
You can find us, Instagram, Snapchat, all sorts of social media for us. So with that being said, thank you guys all so much for your time. We're going to have another panel at 4 p.m. It's about cultures colliding, and we have a lot of different people there. So thank you guys.